This is cropped up a couple times. So for those that don't know, I am an acute care nurse practitioner. I have been working in the critical care medicine world, critical care medicine department in my full-time job for the past, I think this is year greater than 5 years. And about a year ago, I decided to step outside my comfort zone and to do moonlighting / locum tenens work, working for a hospitalist department in another facility, in a smaller hospital. And it was my first time ever experiencing the workload of a hospitalist APP. And over the past, year, I've been cataloging some of my experiences on how stressful it is, and that the stress working as a hospitalist APP is a lot more challenging for me than the stress that I get working in critical care medicine. And it's my perspective, it's not anybody else's. I'm not here to debate or to talk about which one is more difficult and who has it, whose job is tougher, and which one requires more. I'm simply explaining my perspective. So first and foremost, I've lived in the ICU as a nurse and a nurse practitioner my entire nursing career. Prior to being an NP, I spent greater than over a decade as a bedside nurse in every ICU you can think of. Did travel ICU nursing, I did straight nights, the flip-flop, I worked in the small community hospital, I worked in the large teaching facility, I've worked in every ICU that you can think of. Everything from the general medical ICU all the way up to the specialized hematology, oncology, surgical ICUs. I've done trauma, I've done open heart, cardiovascular. I've experienced it all as a bedside nurse. And as a nurse practitioner, I continue that wide range of experience from an APP working in critical care medicine. I get to see a variety of patients, including medical, trauma, surgical, and cardiovascular, open heart, intervention. I get to see it all. So critical care is my jam. CCM is me. CCM, critical care medicine, that's me. It's my jam. Even on my worst days, even though I'm physically exhausted and mentally spent, I still freaking love it. And I get up and I can bounce back and do it again because it's what I love. It's my passion. I don't know how to do anything else. So when I say that the stress level for the hospitalist is a different animal for me, it's more difficult for me, it's because it's a different kind of stress that I still haven't been able to completely describe. And I think the last time I talked about it on my Instagram stories, I think I might have honed it down to a simple concept that it has to do with patient care. In critical care medicine, people are literally dying around you. And you're at the bedside, titrating this, tinkering with this, adding this, doing this, procedures. You're up into your elbows in stuff that have to do with patient care because it's required. And you don't get to do as much patient care as you'd like because you have a bazillion other responsibilities. In the world of hospitalist medicine, that's taken to the nth degree because of the system that we've created, because of the model that you're practicing in. You know, you imagine that the more critically ill require a higher level of attention, which means less patients for a singular provider. It's kind of like, ICU nursing versus med-surg nursing. Med-surg nurses have a ratio that's higher than ICU. And it's kind of the same thing because hospitalist medicine, it's general medicine. It's a cornucopia of everything. And you're taking care of the medical management of pretty much any patient in the acute care setting. And then you could be caring for patients in long-term care. You could be caring for patients in other nursing settings as a hospitalist patient, hospitalist APP. And that's where my stress level goes up because I'm not used to that. My body, I'm wired differently. I can do the job. That's not a problem. It's that it definitely chips away at me harder than critical care does. The only example I can give is that, the number of patients that we see in the hospitalist versus critical care is double, if not triple. So it's a 3-to-1 ratio. 3 times the amount of patients we are responsible for their care. Now, can you imagine having to spend all that time with every patient? You'd never get anything else done. So you have to manage your time wisely. And the systematic things that take place on every single patient is magnified. So you have a revolving door for your service, and you could admit, discharge, transfer dozens of patients in a single shift, or you could transfer multiple patients in a single hour, and you have to manage all of your patient care, all of the system requirements, and you have to take care of all the paperwork, and you have to put out all the fires on the 3 times the amount of patient load you have. So you're getting phone calls left and right from family, patients, nurses, ancillary staff, pharmacy, transfer centers, and you're getting that on every single patient. And it becomes this just juggling game of trying to manage all of that and get all of your work done in your single shift while providing optimum care to your patient, each individual patient. And it can be overwhelming at times, especially when it's a high census or patients are a little sicker than normal or they require more than the garden variety admission when they come in with a complex case or a complex diagnosis and they require higher level of intervention. They don't require ICU care, but they require more attention, more things needed addressed. And it definitely, it chips away at your soul. And I don't know how hospitalists do that on a full-time basis. Like, I do it for a stretch, and then I have time off, and it takes me a while to recover and recuperate. Versus, I could do a number of string of shifts with critical care, and I need a day to recover because of the lack of sleep. But like the emotional baggage, the emotional exchange I have for critical care is minimal. Probably because I'm used to it. Having to process the death and the dying and to help them in their last moments of life, palliative care, comfort care, end-of-life decisions and conversations, those are all very exhausting and they will get to me. But on the average, I can recover fairly quickly. With the hospitalist thing, if it's a bad shift and it's that busy with that kind of turnover and that kind of demand, it definitely just, my soul just crumbles for a while. And I guess that's the best way I can describe the different stress levels between critical care medicine and hospitalist medicine. Neither are better than the other. Both are absolutely required to care for our patient population, and I have the utmost respect for both services.